As morning takes hold, bathing the room in gentle light, there's a desire to begin the day with something invigorating. For many elderly people, a hot shower has become a symbol of awakening, as if the streams of water wash away the remnants of sleep and infuse the body with vitality. Jerry, who had recently turned 81, also believed in this simple joy. Every morning, without a second thought, he would head to the bathroom, turn on the hot water, and stand under the streams with pleasure, feeling the warmth seep into his muscles. Everything went on as usual until one March morning, which could have ended in tragedy. Before he could even lather his hands, Jerry suddenly felt the world sway around him, the walls dissolving into mist, and he collapsed onto the floor. He regained consciousness still lying there, hearing muffled voices and feeling pain in his shoulder. When the doctors arrived, they explained what had happened. Upon waking, the body is still in a state of nocturnal rest. Blood pressure is lower than normal, blood vessels are constricted, and the heart works more slowly. When a person abruptly stands up and faces hot water, the vessels expand too quickly. Blood pressure fluctuates, and the brain temporarily receives insufficient blood flow. Fainting in such moments is common and extremely dangerous. The hot shower, without preparation, had become a hidden trap for Jerry. The doctor, speaking kindly and patiently, advised him not to rush. In the morning, it's better to give yourself half an hour to wake up gradually. A glass of water on an empty stomach helps gently stimulate the blood vessels, improving circulation. Only after that, unhurriedly, should one go to take a shower, choosing moderately warm water instead of scalding heat. This simple ritual may seem insignificant, but it is like a bridge between vulnerability and safety. Jerry, a naturally thoughtful man, listened carefully. Now his mornings begin differently. He sits in his favorite chair by the window, sipping water slowly, watching the street awaken. Only after a while does he head to the bathroom, calmly and without haste, enjoying a warm shower that brings only pleasure, not risk. Jerry admits he felt the difference immediately. No more anxiety in his body, no more weakness. His mornings once again became a time of joy, but now a wise and caring joy, where body and soul walk hand in hand. And perhaps the most important thing Jerry realized is that self-care begins with respect for one's own age and the changes it brings. And this respect does not demand sacrifices, only attentiveness, patience, and love for life in every new precious day. The evening sun leaned toward the horizon, scattering its last golden rays across the living room walls as Marilyn was finishing her day. She was 77 years old and over the years had developed a special bedtime ritual, a hot shower. She believed that warm water would ease her joint pain, soothe the tension of the day, and bring the peaceful rest she longed for. Marilyn diligently maintained this routine, unaware that the innocent habit concealed a hidden danger. At first, everything seemed fine. The pleasant warmth relaxed her muscles, and her joints felt less stubborn. But then worrying signs began to appear. Marilyn started waking up in the middle of the night with strong heart palpitations, strange dizziness, and a troubling weakness. She didn't connect it to the shower, thinking it was just her age catching up with her. However, the episodes grew more frequent, and one night, frightened by an especially intense episode, Marilyn decided to see a doctor. The doctor listened carefully to her story and explained what was happening. Hot water dilates the blood vessels, heats the body, and forces the heart to work harder. In elderly people, such changes occur more sharply, placing greater strain on the cardiovascular system. The most dangerous moment comes when, after a hot shower, a person goes straight to bed. The body doesn't have time to adapt, blood pressure fluctuates, and sleep turns into a struggle against internal tension. All of this had caused Marilyn's nighttime awakenings. The doctor's recommendation was surprisingly simple, yet deeply thoughtful. Lower the water temperature to warm, avoid scalding streams, and move the evening shower to an earlier time, right after dinner, about an hour to an hour and a half before bed. This gap would allow the body to adjust calmly, stabilize blood pressure, and prepare for real rest. With her characteristic discipline, Marilyn took the advice to heart. At first, it felt strange. The warm water didn't seem to relieve her fatigue as effectively. But after a few days, she noticed changes. The nighttime awakenings disappeared, her sleep became deep and peaceful, and her heart no longer troubled her with sudden racing. In the mornings, Marilyn felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in a long time. She realized that caring for oneself isn't just about pills or injections. It's about attention to small details, respect for the needs of a body that, with age, requires a little more delicacy. A simple adjustment to her shower routine helped her regain a lost sense of safety and peace. And in that, there was a special lesson. Sometimes the most important changes begin not with grand resolutions, but with small, warm, caring steps toward oneself. Morning at Walter's house always began by routine. A light breakfast at the old oak table, a cup of coffee, and then a shower. 75 years had not robbed him of his energy, and he took pride in still being full of vigor. After breakfast, he would head almost immediately to the bathroom, turn on the hot water, and enjoy the booming sound of droplets and the warmth driving away the last remnants of sleep. He felt that by doing so, he was saving precious time and energizing himself for the day ahead. Yet in recent months, something had changed. At times, standing under the shower, Walter would suddenly feel a wave of lightheadedness. The world seemed to sway under his feet, the room would start to blur, and he had to grasp the handrail to keep from falling. He blamed it on aging, thinking that everything naturally became harder with the years. But one day something happened that changed his familiar routine. After breakfast, as usual, he went to take a shower, and within a minute, he lost his balance, hitting his shoulder against the wall. Fortunately, he avoided serious injury, but the fright was considerable. A visit to the doctor revealed what Walter had never suspected. After eating, the body directs most of the blood flow toward the digestive organs to help the stomach perform its work. During this time, the brain receives less blood, and any additional strain, like that caused by a hot shower, amplifies this redistribution. In older individuals, these changes manifest more acutely because blood vessels lose their elasticity and the heart struggles to adapt quickly. The result? Dizziness, risk of falls, and potential injuries. The doctor advised Walter to make a simple yet vital adjustment. Not to rush into showering after eating. It was important to wait at least 20 minutes, giving the body time to manage digestion before taking a shower. Moreover, the water should be moderately warm, not scalding hot. This small pause could become a reliable safeguard against unpleasant consequences. Walter took the advice seriously. Now, after breakfast, he allowed himself to leisurely read the newspaper, sip another cup of herbal tea, and listen to the radio. Only then would he head for the shower, enjoying the warm streams that no longer caused dizziness. Walter felt a new lightness returning to him, and the anxious uncertainty with every movement faded away. This experience taught him an important truth. Respecting one's body means learning to hear its signals. And even in small things, like choosing the right time for a shower, self-care reveals itself, giving the strength to move forward with joy and gratitude for each day lived. The day was nearing noon, the sun mercilessly scorched the streets, and in a small house on the outskirts of town, Betty was routinely preparing for her shower. She had turned 80 and, despite her age, tried to keep herself in good shape, refusing to let fatigue take over. After lunch, she would step into the bathroom, close the door, turn on the hot water, and immerse herself in the enveloping steam, believing it helped her refresh and regain strength. The shower had become a moment of quiet solitude and respite from the bustle of the world. But one day, Betty noticed that after these showers, she felt worse. Instead of invigoration, there came a heaviness. Her heart would race and her head would ring as if after enduring a long heat wave. Her son Daniel, concerned about his mother's condition, decided to take a closer look at what was happening. He installed a thermometer in the bathroom and was shocked. The room's temperature reached 29 degrees Celsius even before the water started running. In the closed room without ventilation, the humidity and heat created an almost greenhouse effect, one that an elderly person's body could no longer handle. In older adults, thermoregulation mechanisms weaken, and even slight increases in body temperature can lead to overheating, fatigue, and dizziness. Realizing this couldn't continue, Daniel carefully and respectfully suggested his mother change her routine. Instead of a midday shower, Betty began taking it in the morning, when the air was still fresh and cool. The bathroom door was now left slightly ajar to prevent steam buildup, and a small fan by the entrance gently refreshed the air. The water was also now moderately warm rather than scaldingly hot. At first, Betty was wary of these changes. It seemed to her that without the familiar heat, the relaxation she was used to would be gone. But gradually, she felt the difference. After her morning showers, her body remained light, her breathing steady, and her mood surprisingly cheerful. The previous sluggishness vanished, replaced by a sense of inner freshness and joy. The shower once again became a source of pleasure, but now safe and restorative. This experience reminded Betty of a simple yet profound truth. Self-care doesn't mean giving up cherished habits, but rethinking them wisely. Sometimes just a small adjustment can fill a familiar action with new light and benefit. And now, every day, she began with gratitude for life, for her son, and for the quiet care that made her days lighter and Betty herself happier and more confident in her own home.